Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Walt Harris versus Josh Parisian. Walt Harris is 13-10 as a pro, 40 years old, and he's got 1 inch of height and 2 inches of reach over 15-6 Josh Parisian, who is 34 years old. Walt Harris, 13 wins. He's got 13 knockouts. 11 of them come in round 1, just 2 in round 2. And of course, he won a decision against Andrei Arlovski, but it was overturned. I think it was a split decision. But it's no coincidence that's the one that's overturned, because Walt Harris is destined to be a guy with a 100% finish rate. He's a very athletic, very powerful guy. Pure danger on the feet, especially in round 1. But in round 2, you got to start to worry a little bit, and even in round 1, I guess, you got to worry a little bit. Walt Harris is a vulnerable guy. He's got 10 losses, 5 of them via TKO, just 1 via submission, and 3 decision losses. The TKOs come to Marcin Tybura, Alexander Volkov, Alistair Overeem, Soa Paleli, and Nikita Krylov. Krylov got him out of there on the feet with a head kick. That was in his debut. And Nikita Krylov is now at light heavyweight and one of the best fighters in the world. Alexander Volkov stabbed him in the body in round 2, got him out of there on the feet. But the other guys all got him out of there on the ground. Alistair Overeem, Soa Paleli, and Marcin Tybura. Soa Paleli, if you don't know, he's like a grappling Mark Hunt. And if you don't know Mark Hunt, just imagine a big Samoan guy. But Soa Paleli was a monster on top, and he was able to get Walt Harris out of there. Alistair Overeem and Marcin Tybura as well. Those are really good guys on top, even though Reem is much more of a striker, I guess. But still a very dangerous grappler. And both those guys weathered a storm from Walt Harris early on and then took over. And once they got him to the ground, that was it. It's not like, I don't want to say Walt Harris melted, but he just couldn't get up and he was being beaten up. The one submission loss comes to Fabricio Verdum. No shame in that. That was, I forget how that fight was put together, under which circumstances or whatever, but I remember the fight. Got him down, took his back, and put him in an armbar from back control. The 3 decision losses come to Shamil Abdurakhimov, Jared Rosholt, and Chris Huggy Bear Barnett before they got to the UFC. So only good fighters have beaten Walt Harris. And he's beaten some good fighters himself. Alexei Olenek, Sergey Spivak, Daniel Spitz, Cyril Asgard, Chase Sherman. Maybe not the best fighters, but Olenek and Spivak are solid victories. He got Olenek out of there in seconds, and Sergey Spivak got him out of there early as well, which is easily now the best win on his record. Walt Harris, you do have to worry about him down the stretch, and he's coming off a layoff here, but he's training hard with John Jones. He's training with John Jones, which I'm hoping will patch up some of his wrestling deficiencies. And I think in this fight and in any other fight, he's the more dangerous guy. He's pure fucking danger. Josh Parisian, he's not so dangerous, even though he's got a lot of finishes. He's got 13 finishes in his 15 wins. So he's very fucking dangerous on paper, but he doesn't bring that first round danger that Walt Harris brings. Even though, again, I'm sure Josh Parisian, most of his wins come in the first round. But it's just not the same. Walt Harris is at a significant athletic advantage, and I think he's got a significant power advantage. Josh Parisian, he's got 11 TKO victories, 2 submissions, and just 2 decisions. His 6 losses come 2 via TKO, 1 via submission, and 3 via decision. Tony Lopez beat him up in the, I think, King of the Cage or whatever, but he's a solid veteran fighter with a lot of experience. Got him out of there in round 2. Dontel Mays got him out of there in round 3. Dontel Mays, maybe middle to bottom UFC heavyweight, but good enough fighter, and he ground Parisian down. Also, this guy Michel Batista got him with a TKO in round 2 on The Ultimate Fighter. That guy was a really good grappler, really strong fighter on the ground. Never really made much of his career after that, but proved to be a talented guy, and he mauled Parisian. The one submission loss comes to this guy Brett Martin, who Kimura'd him. That guy kind of fizzled out, I guess, but he seemed by his record to have to have some promise. And the 3 decision losses come to some guy I don't know, Jamal Pogues and Parker Porter. Parker Porter That was a fight in which Parisian was doing well early and then faded, got beat up badly in round 2, and then lost round 3. And the Jamal Pokes fight was a bad decision, in my opinion. I thought Josh Parisian was winning that fight. Parisian has this ability to fight like a zombie, especially at the UFC level, fighting these monstrous heavyweights, where he's not going to just go through you in one round. He's a guy that can take it, it seems like, and keep giving it. And he's got a bit of that zombie in him. That's how he got Alan Bordeaux out of there. Alan Bordeaux, who faded hard against Parisian. He was doing well early, and then Parisian took over, got him out of there. Parisian fared pretty well in round 3 against Roque Martinez. Won a split decision there. You could argue it went either way, but still, he was fighting hard enough to win round 3. He's a guy that I trust in more of a competitive fight going down the stretch. I do trust Josh Parisian. But as far as the bets and even the prediction, I'm going with Walt Harris. I mean, the bets, I'm going with both guys, of course. I'm a degenerate. But Walt Harris, I think he should win. And I think, I guess I'd have to go with first round TKO. But Josh Parisian's his chin's never been an issue. I think for Walt Harris to really win via first round TKO or KO, it would have to be him separating you from your senses, as is the case in most of his victories. And Parisian has never been knocked out. So my bets, that's why they're a little more scattered. I do think there's value on Josh Parisian winning down the stretch. Rounds 2 and 3, TKO, plus 950 and plus 1400. There's a lot more value on that than there is on Walt Harris winning by round 1 knockout, flat, plus 150. But Walt Harris, I didn't bet on the round 1 knockout. I bet on his money line at minus 150 because Walt Harris, even though I think, and almost all of his victories come in round 1 and they all come by knockout, he's a guy that could take away Josh Parisian's ability to get on top of him and could take away Josh Parisian's ability to overwhelm him, trap him and corner him and overwhelm him. But Walt Harris has a distinct athletic advantage here, and also he's the bigger guy, longer as well, and I think he's faster, as it usually goes with the athletic guy. He moves a lot better. And I think even if Parisian is starting to take over and Walt's starting to have some cardio issues, he can keep himself safe in a few different ways. So Walt Harris is the pick, but the primary bets are on Josh Parisian by TKO, plus 950, plus 1400. Again, if Walt Harris had a bad chin, I would include round 1 finish, but he doesn't have a bad chin. So Parisian by round 2 and round 3, and Walt Harris flat are the bets. And for the pick, I guess I will go with Walt Harris via first round finish because that's usually how he gets it done. I'm expecting his athleticism to be the difference maker. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.